Here we go.
What? Yeah!
You sit on a throne of law.
You're listening to Texas Real Estate with Todd Tremonti, brought to you by the Patrick Glaros Mortgage Team, DP Lambert with Goosehead Insurance, Republic Title, Home Serve Home Warranty, Evolution Moving, and Keen Landscaping. And now your host, real estate broker, consultant, and best-selling author, Todd Tremonti.
Welcome, folks. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Texas Real Estate with Todd Tremonti. I am Todd Tremonti. We got a full studio today. The Young MG, Mason Goss, the Yanni, Donnie, Ian Daniels, and we'll be covering the full gamut. We'll get you a full and thorough state of the market as we make our way through the show. I do really quickly want to let folks know that you are doing it wrong if you're not checking the YouTube channel here, tthst.tv, or you can just go to toddtremontiteam.com and click on the videos tab. Producer Mason is getting past radio show episodes and excerpts up on the YouTube channel weekly, and many of you follow those regularly. We appreciate your comments when you're asking us for new videos or getting clarity or connecting with the team to buy and sell real estate. So obviously, if you're looking at buying, selling, or investing in the DFW area or really anywhere across North America, you can always reach out to us at toddtremontiteam.com. We'll get you squared away. More importantly, if you've got a question that you'd like us to discuss here and now, you can call us at 214-310-0008 or text 214-310-0008. Or find us online anytime, just like my son says.
ToddTremontiTeam.com.
ToddTremontiTeam.com. Send us your questions. We'll cover the gamut of what's going on in Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, Frisco, Wiley, Saxe, Murphy, Keller, Benbrook, and all the places around and in between as we make our way through the show today. Some incredible statistics to cover today, as well as some stories from buyers, sellers, agents, clients out in the world of DFW, dealing with the complexities and lack of clarity that exist in today's market. As always, this first segment is brought to you by the Patrick Glaros Mortgage Team over at Cardinal Financial. You can find them online at patrickglaros.com. That's Glaros, patrickglaros.com. I closed one with Patrick for myself, for my wife and I this week. Everything went phenomenally smooth. The whole team over there is just incredible. Melanie and the whole crew took really, really good care of us. So if you have mortgage needs, if you're thinking about buying a home, a second home, a third home, refinancing, anything related to a mortgage, you just need to go to patrickglaros.com, Glaros, or call them, 972-728-3420. That's NMLS number 308804 for the Patrick Glaros Mortgage Team at Cardinal Financial.
I actually ran into Patrick over breakfast over the weekend.
How awesome was that?
Quick high five. We're going to grab breakfast next week.
I've talked to him.
I'd like to know that.
I'm working on one more deal with him right now, and then we're actually helping him with something. So just about as good as it gets over there, folks. Cardinal Financial, patrickglaros.com. Okay, if you've got questions about the market in your area, call or text 214-310-0008. The Yanni Donnie himself will pepper me with those questions. Maybe we'll get to a European football minute a little bit later in the show today. But let's get right into it and talk about what is happening on the ground in DFW real estate right now. We'll start with questions. If you've got questions, send them to us, toddtremontiteam.com or 214-310-0008. Call or text 214-310-0008.
You were on the news a couple of times this past week, being interviewed both on radio and on TV about just kind of the state of where we're at, right? So why don't you, if you would, just give a quick overview of what were the news folks on WFAA and WBAP, so Channel 8 TV and WBAP.
Yeah, and if you ever want to see what's going on with us, just find us on social media, right? You can find Todd Tremonti Home Selling Team on Facebook, or there is a Texas Real Estate with Todd Tremonti radio show page as well. Usually we'll have those things posted if we're on any other media or past radio shows and excerpts and things like that. So check that stuff out online. But yeah, it seemed like, Monday or Tuesday of this week, all of the sudden, media outlets realized that inventory was low.
It was very weird.
Dallas Business Journal did a piece that said year over year, January was 50%, one half of housing inventory from 2021. And it was like all of the sudden, TV stations and radio stations, like they just realized it.
Right.
And not, I'm not exactly picking on them, but at the same time, they're not in the real estate business. This is just one of a bazillion topics they're covering. So I would never expect them to be, on top of the data. But it was just strange to me. It was like no one knew, and then everyone knew. So anyway, we got called. Hey, can you jump on with us for the 6 o'clock news and then the 10 o'clock news and then the Ernie Brown show on WBAP? He does mid-mornings 9 to 11 here on WBAP each week. And all of them were fun experiences because of the just sort of astonishing responses to what we are seeing every single day. So what we discussed was really the market as a whole. And when I say the market, I'm almost always talking about Dallas-Fort Worth. Really from kind of the Wiley, Nevada side. We certainly go east of that, but that's kind of the edge to the due east. And then as far west as Aledo and Weatherford and beyond. We're talking all the way north to Sherman and beyond. And certainly, we can go all the way to Waxahachie on the south side if you want. But the point I'm making is I think everyone generally knows, and I shouldn't say everyone, most people generally know there's not a whole lot of houses for sale, and there's a bunch of buyers, that want them. What it seemed like very few people knew was how extreme it really is. Take Frisco, for example. This week, I checked the numbers. I could be a day or two off by now, but Frisco, Texas, homes under 400,000, which I think most people would agree that's the, standard average kind of middle of the market. One house for sale.
It's amazing.
One house for sale in Frisco under $400,000.
And when we looked, that one had multiple offers.
It was,
so you can even argue it's zero.
Technically zero, yeah. So, I mean, this is what's crazy is that mathematically makes no sense that there's, a community of that size with that going on. Then, check this out. Plano, Texas, 300,000 people living in Plano, Texas, mind you. 62 total homes for sale this week. 62 houses in the whole market at all price points from, 300,000 to probably 10 million. 62 houses for sale in a community of 300,000 people, right? Richardson, Texas has the fastest pace of the market that we've probably ever seen, right? Fort Worth, Texas has about 12 days of housing inventory. 12 days, not weeks, certainly not months, 12 days, meaning at the rate people are currently buying houses, if no new homes go on the market, we're out of houses in less than 2 weeks.
Talk a little bit, if you would, about, are you seeing any differences between the Dallas side of things of the Metroplex and the Fort Worth side of the Metroplex?
We are. And just to be clear, if you have real estate needs, reach out to the Todd Tremonti Home Selling Team. There's a very good chance you'll hear that soothing English accent on the other side of the phone. Very good chance you'll get to chat with Ian about your needs and where you are and what's best for you. And then Ian can get you plugged in with one of our full-time, fully dedicated, world-class, specialized agents who only work with buyers or sellers. So if you want to do that, give us a call, 214-310-0008. You can call right now with your questions, or you can call anytime throughout the week, 214-310-0008, or text 214-310-0008, or as always, you can go to
TouchTheMoneyTeam.com.
Now, Dallas and Fort Worth in many ways have similar housing markets, but in a few distinctive ways are different. Generally speaking, the Fort Worth market is not historically quite as fast-paced. Now, right now, the pace is about the same, but Fort Worth is a little bit more affordable dollar for dollar, meaning dollar for square foot, dollar for acreage. There are definitely exceptions, but, let's say somebody calls us, and this does happen. I'm moving from California, I'm moving from Ohio, I'm moving from Arizona, it doesn't matter. And I really don't care very much which side of the Metroplex I'm on. I know we want to be in DFW as a whole, but we're open to east, west, north, south, and they give us a budget. There are times we'll say, okay, that budget probably can get you a little farther, a little more house, a little more land on the Fort Worth side than it can on the Dallas side. Now, there are areas where that's not as much true, but North Dallas specifically, that dollar's not going to go quite as far as it will go in most parts of Fort Worth. There's definitely some pockets of Fort Worth that are pretty steep and some pockets of Dallas that are a little bit more affordable. But generally speaking, the dollar goes a little bit farther on the Fort Worth side. And the level of competition is not quite as extreme on the Fort Worth side. Of course, before I get a ton of emails, there are always exceptions, but generally speaking, that has continued to be the case. If you've got specific questions about an area you live in, on our YouTube channel, again, go to tthst.tv or go to toddtramoniteteam.com and just click on videos. We'll get comments. Hey, can you guys do a video on South Lake for us? Hey, could you guys do a video on East Plano for us? And sometimes we'll do that. Other times we talk about it here. But if you have specific questions, let us know. 214-310-0008 or toddtramoniteteam.com.
This next part of the show is brought to you by DP Lambert over at Goosehead Insurance. You can reach out to DP and he will shop your home insurance, your auto insurance. He's a broker. He's an insurance broker. So he's gonna look at dozens and dozens of insurance providers to not only get you the absolute lowest price, but making sure that you're getting the best coverage that you can get at the same time. I've used DP several times for several years, and he saved me literally thousands of dollars over the years. So you can reach out to DP, dp.lambert, Lambert, dp.lambert at goosehead.com. And as always, you can go to toddtramoniteteam.com, click the radio icon, radio tab, and you can find all of our recommended pros and vendors there. Question that I got asked this week, Todd. Ready? Ready for it?
Ready?
How quickly and how long is it taking to sell homes?
What?
I mean, there was a real question because they were curious. We're talking hours, days, weeks. And I explained to them it depends on a variety of circumstances where we're talking about. Is it on land and all that type of thing? But generally speaking, how would you answer that?
Really, really fast. There's the average days on market varies from pocket to pocket. And we tell people, we've been saying this for years, real estate is hyper local. So if you hear the average days on market in Dallas is 27, that doesn't mean much because Dallas includes, lots of zip codes, tons of neighborhoods, thousands and thousands of homes. It's a giant average of way too much data. So when you're looking at days on market, you really want to look at most at your neighborhood, ideally at your street, and potentially at your type of property on your street. And in the more desirable areas in DFW, those numbers are more likely in the teens, 13, 14, 15, things like that. There are definitely some areas in the Metroplex that are over 30, 33, 34 days on market. But for example, our team is currently averaging about 4 days for the homes that are in our target areas where we built our system to sell homes in, the mid to upper mid neighborhood homes on 1 to 10 acres, homes near the golf course or with a swimming pool. But the general rule is homes have never sold as fast as they're selling all across DFW right now. Again, there's always exceptions to these things, but generally speaking, homes are selling under a month. Now, a lot of people are assuming, to your point, the way you asked the question, that homes are all selling in 45 minutes in every price point in every market. And that's really not the case. You can look in even the most competitive areas within DFW, and the market averages will be in the teens to low 20s in most of those places, in most of those price ranges. Again, some areas we're seeing 34, 35 days on market. The reason for that is you're averaging in the one that smells like cat urine and has broken windows or the one where the seller was just unbelievably stubborn and didn't let people in to see it most days, and refused to accept obscenely great offers, or was marketed by a bad agent and with a bad plan and didn't get showings, and all those things get averaged into the overall averages.
Yeah, when I look at we actually have a market report that we send to folks. We have an economist put this together for us, and he collaborates data over the previous 6 months. When I look at the data for Richardson, 3 to 400,000, 22 days.
Yep.
4 to 5, 23 days. When we look at Plano, we're looking at 18, 19 days. When we look at Dallas, we're right around the same in Dallas. I mean, that's a big city, obviously.
Right.
But it's not an average of 1 day or
Right.
2 days. Like over the last 6 months, and we can all agree, it's not been this way only recently. It's
Right.
been this way for months, but we're still seeing the average days on market be the upper teens to low.
And
low
that,
teens.
I think the point here is that the low teens and in the 20s is the lowest it's ever been.
Yeah.
Right now, if you're asking what's possible, here at the Todd Tremonti Home Selling Team, we guarantee to sell your home over the average price and under the average time, which means the current averages, right? So the current average for sale price is as high as it's ever been, and the current average for days on market is as low as it's ever been. We guarantee that our agents on our team will sell your house for more money than the current average and in less time than the current average. So take Richardson, for example. We are literally, no exaggeration, averaging about 11% over the current higher than ever average sales price. And we're averaging about 3 times faster than the current average days on market. So if the average days on market in Richardson is 18, which is it almost exactly is, our average is about 6. And the reality is our average is about 3. But it's hard. We update these numbers sometimes and people just don't believe them. But the reality is when you approach the general market right now, your home's going to sell well. But I strongly suggest if you're selling in this market that you're not lazy about it. That's the number one problem we see with sellers right now is they're being lazy because the market is so favorable. So they go out and they do get a good deal. They don't get the best deal they could have, but they do get a good deal and they don't know what they missed out on. So they're happy, which is great. I'm glad that sellers are happy. But we're seeing sellers leaving $40, $50, $100, $200, $1,000 on the table, and oftentimes it taking a lot longer. Now there is some nuance to days on market. Staying on the market for an extra day or 2 or 3 is not unwise. Sometimes that's the smarter play, is not to just jump at the very first offer that you get. In a market like this, if you're marketed well, you should be able to get, not all the time, but a lot of the time, more than one offer. And so there's a strategy as to understanding and figuring out which one's best. But again, that doesn't apply to every single property. So some sellers in the current market need to be aware that they have a unique property and it needs a unique approach. If you're looking for a team that can put together a customized approach for any property anywhere in DFW, reach out to us, toddtremontiteam.com. Now, let me clarify. We're not going to work with every owner on every property everywhere. But if we're a fit, then we can put together a customized plan for you no matter where or what it is. If we're not a fit, we'll let you know up front, hey, we're not the best person to market and sell that for you. That's not in our wheelhouse. That's not in our expertise. If for some reason you have totally unreasonable expectations, we may say, hey, we're not going to be a fit together because we don't agree on what's likely to happen here. But I would strongly advise, if you're even remotely thinking about selling a house right now, even if you'd like to just add your property to our private portfolio list, which is a list of homes that are not publicly marketed. We don't put them on any websites. We don't blast them out to hundreds or thousands of email viewers. We only talk about them to our ready buyers, which we have almost 70 right now. I think 66 or 68 last time I checked. Fully ready to go qualified buyers. If you would like to add your home to our private portfolio list, meaning you don't have to put it fully on the market, but you'd be fine if a buyer showed up and they were willing to pay you your price, go to toddtremontiteam.com, or better yet, just start a quick text conversation with Ian at 214-310-0008. Save this phone number in your cell phone, 214-310-0008. And when you're ready to buy or sell, whether you're ready to go fully on the market, which is almost always the best option, or you'd like to simply add your property to our private portfolio list that we show our in-house buyers, you can do that by texting 214-310-0008. Now, feel free to call that number too, 214-310-0008. But often texting is the best. We can get your address, do a little data research, get you added to that list, and see if we can put a giant check in your pocket. 214-310-0008 for the Todd Tramonte Home Selling Team, where we guarantee to sell your home over the average price and under the average time. Currently averaging more than 11% over the average price and more than 3 times faster than the market average.
HomeServe Home Warranty, the home warranty company that so many of our clients have trusted and used over the last few years, both whether they are getting ready to sell their home with us or whether they have purchased a new home.
I have too.
Good job.
Yeah, they're great.
How was it?
Excellent. I'm just a believer that basically nobody owns a home for a year and doesn't have a contractor out once or twice. Electrician, plumber, appliance person. We've loved HomeServe for years and years. Christine
actually came by the office last week just to kind of touch base and check in with us and just say, hey, are y'all satisfied? Is everything good? Are your clients happy? Have you had any complaints? Like, she genuinely wanted to make sure that all of our folks were really, really happy with them. So you can go to homeserve.com, homeserve.com. You can check them out there. You can get more information about them, see what they're all about, homeserve.com. And as always, like I tell you every week, you can go to toddtramonteteam.com, click the radio tab, and you can find all of our recommended pros and vendors there.
ToddTramonteTeam.com.
I want to get into it in the second half of the show, Todd, but I know there's a lot of people out there, and I think a part of the reason that inventory is so low is that folks just don't know, like, if inventory is low, yeah, I can sell my house for a ton of money right now. Where do I go?
Yeah, we'll get into that in a lot of depth after news, traffic, and weather here in a minute. But before we do that, I think it's important for people to understand why inventory is low. We do talk about it a lot on the show, but I want to give a quick nod to what's going on. Ever since the 2007-8-9 housing crisis, economic crisis, home builders have slowed down the pace of building. Now, this comes in cycles all the time. A lot of builders went out of business and never came back. Some other builders went out of business and came back more cautious. Some that survived because they were more cautious. They were willing to sacrifice, building every house they could in order to maintain a healthy, stable business. Because of that, ever since then, which if you're doing the math is 13 or 14 years, certainly here locally in Texas, but really nationally, we have not built enough homes, right? So the only way new inventory literally hits the housing market, meaning new houses, is if someone builds them. Now, that's not rocket science. We go from not having a house, someone builds it, and now we have one. When we talk about sales inventory, a home that's been around for 40 years that comes onto the market is available for sale. But when we talk about actual more houses, we just haven't built enough. So as people move here and the population grows, more people need the same number of houses, and so we run out. We'll get into that and a whole bunch more when we come back for the second part of the show here on Todd Tramonte, Texas Real Estate with Todd Tramonte. Sorry, I was excited to hit this button.
ToddTramonteTeam.com.
There you go. Remember, folks, we only introduce you to recommended professionals because they've done a great job for us and our clients.
So check out Patrick Glaros Mortgage Team, HomeServe Home Warranty, DP Lambert with Goosehead Insurance, Evolution Moving, Republic Title, and Keen Landscaping.
We'll be right back with more Texas Real Estate on WBAP. We're back. Not yet. Here we come, though.
Welcome back to Texas Real Estate with Todd Tramonte, brought to you by the Patrick Glaros Mortgage Team, DP Lambert with Goosehead Insurance, Republic Title, HomeServe Home Warranty, Evolution Moving, and Keen Landscaping. And now your host, Todd Tremonti.
Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. Send us your questions anytime, day or night, 214-310-0008. Let me take that back. Send us your questions during the day. If you'd like to hit us up at night, you're going to want to go where my son says to go.
TouchMoneyTeam.com.
And that brings up kind of a point. There are agents, realtors, who will call you, text you, email you, smoke signal you day, night, weekends, holidays. And that sounds like a good thing. But generally speaking, it's not. It is good to have a responsive agent. It is good to have someone that will go to battle for you. All those things are great. But generally speaking, you would never expect your doctor or your attorney or your CPA to do those things. And they're different industries. I get that. I'm not oblivious to that fact. But it's important that you have a professional. And a professional doesn't have a mess of a life. A professional doesn't answer calls at 10 p.m. A professional isn't emailing clients during dinner with their family. That's not a business that any true, super capable, highly skilled professional or any person wants to live for very long. And so they don't, right? They just don't. What they do is they burn out or they leave the business or they find a better way to do it. And oftentimes the folks that are left that are willing to interrupt every family situation, sacrifice their health, their sleep, and everything else for one more deal aren't true professionals. Now, someone who's hearing this that is grinding it out to get going right now, I'm not talking to you. I'm not degrading you. I'm not insulting you. But what I'm saying is there's a sense in the residential real estate industry that the best agents are the ones that are constantly available, and that is incorrect. It is. Now, you have a professional agent. They need to be available when important things happen. I would say kind of 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. most days, probably 5 to 6 days a week. Not 7 whole days a week, morning, noon, and night on a whim within seconds. That's just an unreasonable expectation. This market has pushed us to some extremes, which is why I think the team model that we have is about as good as you could find anywhere. Because if your agent is so bold as to have dinner with his wife or her husband or their children, somebody else can help out, take great care of you. So you are covered, but your agent can be a professional and have a life and rest and learn and build their business and occasionally have dinner with their family. So sidebar, but you're listening to Todd Tremonti. This is Texas Real Estate with Todd Tremonti. I'm the proud owner and operator of the Todd Tremonti Home Selling Team, day in and day out. And that's where we gain and sharpen the expertise to come here and spend an hour with you on Saturdays, hoping to be a resource to you and add value to your life, whether you're buying a home, selling a home, or simply enjoying the one you currently own or rent. We want to be of value to you. If I were to bump into you in the grocery store, I would want that to be a happy interaction where you are able to show appreciation because we at the Todd Tremonti Home Selling Team or here on this show have done something to add value to your life, to make something a little bit easier, to save you some money, to help you build wealth. And that's the goal. You are listening to Texas Real Estate with Todd Tremonti. If there's ever anything that we can do for you now or throughout the week, head over to ToddTremontiTeam.com.
TouchMoneyTeam.com.
This first segment, as always, is brought to you by Patrick Gleros and his team over at Cardinal Financial. We have told you for years and years and years how Patrick has built a team really similar to how we've built a team. He's putting people in a position to succeed, to use their God-given gifts and abilities, to deliver world-class service to so many people. So many of our clients, so many of our friends, family members, team members. Todd himself just closed on a transaction with Patrick, and it went great. It went really, really well. You can go to patrickgleros.com to get more information, patrickgleros.com, NMLS number 308804. You can call him at 972-728-3420, or you can go to toddtremontiTeam.com, toddtremontiTeam.com, hit the radio icon, and you can get all of the contact information for all of our recommended pros and vendors right there. Now, as we ended the first half of the show, we said we were going to get into What do people that want to sell do when they have the question? And this is the question that we really do get asked so much right now. Where do I go? There's no I want to sell, I want to upsize, or I want to downsize, but I'm really struggling to figure out how to do that when it's so much competition to be able to purchase a home right now.
All right, let me issue a warning before I answer this question.
Okay.
This is going to be a long, detailed answer. I believe it will be a very, very helpful answer to folks that are really considering selling and buying in the next year or two.
Okay, hold on really quick then. Middlesbrough won away from home this week. Okay. We finally won away from home. First one this year. I'm done. Go ahead.
Okay, up the borough. All right, here's the deal. If at any point I get too far away from the original question, feel free to interrupt me and bring me back.
All right.
Here's the deal. There's a widespread sense of concern and fear about selling and buying. And because of that, we have a lot of people doing nothing that would normally put their house on the market, start looking for a house, find something, and make it work. When I got into the business in the early days, it was a stable enough market. It was a fast-paced seller's market, but a stable enough market that we would tell people, let's get your house on the market. We'll start looking, and in the time that it takes us to get yours sold, closed, and funded, we'll find you one. Then the market shifted to more of a buyer's market, and we would tell people, don't even look at houses on the internet until we have an executed contract on your home you have to sell, because you're going to fall in love with a house that you can't have because it might take much longer to sell your home.
Yep.
And that house might not be there, or, you're going to fall in love with one that might not be accessible to you. Now we're at a place where here's the following advice. In the best case scenario, what we do is you have unlimited funds. And so you go buy the house you want to buy. That may not be easy, but we go make an all cash offer aggressively with favorable terms to the seller on the house you want to buy. And we just wait till the house you want to buy comes along and we buy that.
And that's probably not that many people.
Not very many people, but this is the ideal scenario.
Right.
You buy it, and then we turn around and you move what you want to out of your old house. You leave what you want to in the old house. We stage it. We get it fully rocking and ready to go, and then we sell it, and then they send you the money. But to your point, less than 10% of the overall market can instinctively, naturally do that within their traditional budget. Now, I would say in the current market, about 40% of the market is finding a way to get that done. Borrowing money from family, utilizing some different loan structures. And just as a quick sidebar, if you're looking for a way to be able to buy before you sell, we have a couple of programs where we can help you do that right now. Just go to toddtremonteteam.com, contact us any way you like, and we'll show you how we can help you buy before you sell, even if you're not sitting on a giant pile of cash. Now, the more realistic approach in the current market is to get your home on the market using our maximum marketing program, where we are fully prepared. We take the time to present your home the way it's best presented. We sell it under negotiating terms that put you in a position to then be able to stay in that home for a while we look for another home. Give us time and energy not to be pressured into buying the wrong home. Get you into the right home with a fairly quick turnaround and some protections so that you don't get trapped without a home or with two homes for longer than you like. And we can negotiate those things in. And then have a fairly quick kind of double move scenario there late in the process. That can be done. We can protect you. We do this for people all day, every day. But I want to bring up a bigger point here.
When I have a follow-up question when I can as well.
Perfect. Here's the deal. Because of all the uncertainty, because of all of the people sitting on the fence, our market is even more stressful than it should be, right? There is a large number of people wrestling with this concept right here. If on the same day, at the same time, they all entered the market, that would be the most peaceful and even-keeled day we've had in our market in years. There's a tremendous amount of housing inventory locked up by people who are saying, I'm afraid to sell because I don't know where I would buy. But we need to buy each other's houses. Right. So let's just say there's 5,000 people dealing with that right now. Well, if 5,000 people did that, let's just say 4,000 of them were going to sell and buy here locally. That's where a bunch of these people would buy from each other. It's not like, Mike just calls Susan and they work it out, but those houses would go out into the market. They would be on the MLS. They would be on all the websites. There would be signs in yards and open houses, and we would be buying each other's houses. Our clients would be buying each other's houses. But because everyone's afraid of that same two-sided problem, a much bigger chunk of inventory is locked up and inaccessible to people. So let me just say one more thing. If you are thinking, I really would like to sell and buy in the next year, I want to invite you at no charge whatsoever to add your home to our private portfolio of homes. So what that is a list of homes where sellers would be willing to sell that house if favorable terms presented themselves. They're not yet ready to put a sign in the yard, put it on the MLS, put it out for the public. They're not ready for that to be blasted to thousands of people and have hundreds of showings, but they are ready to say, hey, Todd, if somebody would pay me $850,000, I would sell this house, but I'm going to need them to give me enough time to go find my next house. But if I knew I had $850,000 signed, sealed, and delivered, then I would go and find a house, even if it took me 2 or 3 months. I would do that. Okay. So if you would like to add your house to our private portfolio list of homes that are not publicly marketed, we would be willing to do that for you completely free of charge. We just need to gather a little bit of information to put it on there in the right way that is compliant with real estate rules and laws. You can start that process right now by texting the word private portfolio, 2 words, private portfolio, to 214-310-0008. Let me say that one more time. All you have to do is just text private portfolio to 214-310-0008. And if you do that, then someone on our team will get back to you and say, hey, what's the address? What's the bedrooms? What's the bathrooms? What's the square footage? Tell me about the condition. And what price do you think is reasonable? Then we will go do a full deep dive valuation of the property value. See if that's something you're willing for us to put on your home. Again, privately, not publicly. And if that's accurate, we'll price it. We'll put it on our list. And then we would only call you if we had a buyer that really wants to buy that house.
For somebody that wants to explore the private portfolio, is that something where they're going to have to sit down with us in person? Is that something that is done over Zoom, or is that just a phone call?
So it's a phone call or a Zoom. And honestly, Zoom's probably better, but a phone call is fine. We just need to get accurate information about your house and make sure that we're on the same page on what that price is. Because what we will then do is show that to buyers who are ready to buy. We will not show that on the internet. We'll not email blast it. But at the moment, we have 66 or 68, I can't remember the exact number, ready signed buyers with financing in place, ready to go make an offer on a house. Well, that 68 changes all the time, right? Over the course of a year, that will be 300 or 400. And then, people come and go. So the fact of the matter is, if you want to be a part of freeing up some of the momentum in the market, just text private portfolio to our team here at the Todd Tramonte Home Selling Team at 214-310-0008. Let me say it one more time. 214-310-0008. Just text private portfolio. We can add your property to that list. It doesn't obligate you to sell or do anything, but we can test a price out. We can see if there's a buyer who would be interested in buying it and giving you favorable terms so that you would then have time to go and find a house that you might want to buy. Maybe you find one off the private portfolio as well. There's a lot of deals coming together that way because now as a buyer, you might not have to compete with 30 or 40 other buyers or go see it while there's 27 other people in the house, that kind of deal. I want to tell you about Keen Landscaping. Just had them out to the house that we just closed on this week, and I'm getting a full landscaping plan on that one. I'm in a unique situation where we're buying multiple properties for some investment purposes, but they are currently maintaining the property that we live in. and also putting together a full plan to create some really cool hardscape places, as well as do some trees, some lighting, and some new landscaping installation at the new place. They can do all of those things and a lot more for you as well. Give them a call at 972-424-4851 or go online to KeanLandscaping.com. That's Keane, KeanLandscaping.com. Ask for our buddy Kieran O'Mahony over at KeanLandscaping.com.
I've got 2 questions for you to follow up on what you were just talking about. I'm channeling my inner listener here because I feel as though people have these questions.
Yep.
And I'm gonna ask them.
Let me be fair to you. You don't feel as though they have. You're talking to them all week, every week. Ian has the privilege of he's the team lead on the Todd Tremonti home selling team. So he's working with our agents day in and day out to make sure that they deliver world-class value to our clients. He's making sure that we are finding the right ideal clients for our agents and that they're equipped and trained and accountable to delivering phenomenal value to those ideal clients. I don't know of another real estate team in America that has a model like ours where there's that many resources to their agents with team and staff. So Ian's leading our team in that way daily. He's also speaking with people who are wanting to hire our team or wanting to get on our waiting list, and he's connecting them with the right agent on our team. So when Ian asks the question, it's out of that level of context and awareness of what people in the market want and need.
So you talked about the private portfolio. Who is that right for? Because I think some people, there's going to be people out there, and we've been asked this question. Well, but wouldn't it make more sense if I was to go on the market as opposed to just going in a private portfolio? So that's question 1. And then question 2 would be, earlier on in the show, you had mentioned, Frisco has one house for sale under $400,000. Mm-hmm. So for somebody that's wanting to buy in Frisco around there and has a house to sell, is it just we have to be patient, or is there anything that you would say to encourage people that, I know you already said hey, it takes people being willing to sell so we can have those exchanges begin to happen, but that's a pretty tough situation for somebody, right?
Producer Mason, do you think I can remember both of those questions and all the detail they were asked and still get a coherent answer out of that?
No.
Okay. Here goes my best attempt. Question number 1. Who is the private portfolio list for and who is it not for? For most people that know, hey, right now I'm ready to get my house sold. I'm ready to get my equity out of it, buy another one, move down the road, retire, buy a lake house, whatever. Private portfolio is not for you. Now, we will utilize the private portfolio in the days leading up to you being publicly marketed with what we call our maximum marketing program, right? That's going to include all 7 steps of our proprietary marketing system where we guarantee to sell your home over the average price and under the average time. So we may meet with you in person or by Zoom. Once we come out to the house and do a full marketing assessment and a full valuation, we might say, okay, we're going to do these 2 things before we go live on the market next week, but we're going to put you on the private portfolio list this week and ramp up the activity and create some competition and get some research done on the pricing and marketing and terms and things like that. So you might use the private portfolio in that scenario for 5, 6, 7, 8 days and then go fully onto the market as quickly as we can be ready and fully prepared. Now, who is it for? It's for you if you're saying, look, I'd love to sell, but only if I could get 900. So we should talk about that. We should say, look, Mr. Daniels, I think 900 is actually possible, but if you're not dead set on selling, let's put you on the private portfolio list and let's test your home at this price, against the 12 or 15 people that we already know who are looking for a home like yours in your area and see how they respond. If they respond favorably, sounds like you would be thrilled to take that offer. If nobody shows any significant interest, then we have 2 choices. Do nothing, or are you motivated enough at that point to go fully onto the market and market it to the entire buyer population, which is always the best option if you are ready to go and motivated to sell under normal terms. But for someone that's not ready yet, or that needs more flexibility, or that wants to kind of test the approach, private portfolio is perfect. And that applies to almost everyone who is currently sitting on the fence about selling and buying. Being on that private portfolio would be a great way for you to find a buyer who would gladly offer you the flexibility for you to then go find the home you need to move to without you feeling the stress and pressure of the situation.
That could be really good for the person that's living in somewhere like Frisco right now, where there is, literally one house for sale and certain price points. That could be a situation that would make sense.
So question 2, all right, I'm in an area that there are no homes for sale like what I need. So I want to sell and buy, but what am I supposed to do? Well, there are a few solutions to that. Number one is building, and that doesn't just mean going to a brand new neighborhood where builders are throwing up houses. That might mean, finding a lot, finding a home to buy and tear down and build. That sounds crazy, but those things are much more common today than they were 10 years ago because of the inventory shortage. There are a lot of other solutions, finding homes that are not publicly marketed for sale. In Frisco, under 400, there's only one home publicly being marketed. But there are off-market homes, and we're not going to spill all of our secrets here on public radio, but there are ways to access homes that might be able to be purchased that are not being advertised on the internet. And the other option is patience. It's having your home totally ready to go on a private portfolio, ready to be flipped to public marketing once you do find the house you live. And the final thought would be exploring some other areas. And that's a reality that lots of buyers are getting to, but also having to deal with right now. Look, I really want to be in Frisco, but there are no homes under my price point, and there may never be again. So I might need to look at Salina. I might need to look at parts of McKinney. I might need to look at going a little further north, a little further west, where I can get a similar look and feel and experience, but there might actually be some homes available in my price point. I want to tell you about Republic Title really quickly. Closed a transaction with Republic Title last week. Had a really, really great experience. The thing we don't talk about as much with Republic is the relationships. This is a business that's rooted here in the Metroplex from the top down, side to side. They're very careful in their hiring, and they really just hire the best people that care for the client, that protect the transaction, and then do the right thing. When it comes time to buy, sell, refinance, invest in real estate, the title company matters. A bad title company can wreck a good deal, and a good title company can help you sleep better at night. Check them out at republictitle.com. That's republictitle.com. Now, if you are thinking about buying a home, selling a home, investing in real estate at all, there is no charge to reach out to us and just kind of say, what's the best approach right now? I encourage you to do that. I invite you to do that. I am offering you a free, totally free 30-minute to 90-minute strategy session on Zoom with one of our dedicated professional agents. No charge to you, no obligation. Just go to toddtramonteteam.com, click any button, fill out any form, call or text any phone number, and we'll get you set up. If you are thinking you might want to sell, it would be really wise to take advantage of the free offer to be on our private portfolio list of homes. If you're thinking about buying and you would like to get access to buy off of that private portfolio list of homes, just text private portfolio to 214-310-0008. That's 214-310-0008. Just text private portfolio. Remember, folks, we only recommend professionals that we have had a great experience with or our clients. So go check out
Patrick Glaros Mortgage Team, HomeServe Home Warranty, DP Lambert with Goosehead Insurance, Evolution Moving, Republic Title, and Keen Landscaping.